Look at the sunset, it's super orange out. There's like a layer of smog, so it's kind of like a softbox even though it's in direct sun. You probably can't see because the camera's probably not picking up the orange, but it's definitely really orange out. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be going from Glendale to downtown LA in a quick short drive, probably 15 minutes or so, but it is rush hours. So let's see how Autopilot and full self-driving does today in this video. Okay, so it's 5:40 p.m., definitely in the evening rush hour time. We just pulled onto the local road, so I'm pretty much at a standstill here. So let me just go ahead and throw it onto autopilot. What's really cool with some of this newest updates is that even though you're at a complete standstill, if the Tesla recognizes that you are in the lane, then you'll be able to throw it into autopilot. But actually, right now we just threw it into autopilot and it just glitched out and it just said it told me to take over, but it looks like I just hit the accelerator and it just went right through there. So it was definitely able to get over that. Okay, so we're going to turn onto the highway right here, but I'm not sure if it's going to be able to make this route. So let's see what happens. Right now, the autopilot is basically already glitched out, or has told me that it can't proceed past this intersection. But let's see what happens when the light turns green and I push the accelerator to see if it can follow this highway on-ramp to the left and then onto the Highway 5. Okay, so the light just turned green. I hit the okay, so it was not able to take over and follow that road right there. I guess it just couldn't figure out which direction the lanes were going because there really wasn't any lane markers for it to figure out, to follow. Got into the highway here. I'm just gonna throw it onto autopilot, even though it's kind of restricting me to 30 miles an hour for some reason, even though this is kind of the highway. So I'm gonna accelerate it to override this area. I guess it thinks that that stretch of road is a 25-mile-an-hour highway, but it definitely isn't. We're in this lane now. I do have to get into the left lane and it's okay, cool. So even though I thought this was a local road, it was able to go do the auto lane change into the left lane, but it still wants to limit me to 30 miles an hour. So I'm just gonna go ahead and accelerate through this and then let it slow down onto this off ramp right here. So now on this highway on ramp, it just changed it to 65 miles an hour and it's really being hesitant through this highway exit. It's kind of shifting in and out. I'm just gonna go ahead and accelerate it a little bit. Now, okay, so that was a little bit sketchy. It was really hugging to the left lane there and it barely could maneuver through that highway on-ramp and it almost went into that highway left lane, but there was a car coming pretty fast, so that would have been pretty bad if it went onto the highway immediately. Luckily, it stayed in the merge lane and just continued straight through that area. But yeah, thanks for watching another video, guys. If you're new here, my name is Dennis. I got this Tesla Model 3 about a year ago and I make videos about my experience. So if you're interested in any of that, please hit that subscribe. So we need to get into this left lane here, or autopilot recognizes that we need. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it into auto lane change. Pretty smooth. There's no one in this lane, so it made it pretty easily. Hopefully there won't be too much traffic on the way back. It looks like we should be pretty clear until we get to some of the other highways up there. In terms of what version this is 2020.36, and that's it really. Version 10.2, then this is full self-driving hardware 3. It's 91 degrees out. It is 5:44 p.m. so sunset conditions. So the autopilot cameras should really have no issue on these roads. Okay, so a little bit of heavy braking there because that Subaru in front of us pulled into our lane and then started braking. Now it's exiting our lane, so autopilot should accelerate once those cars leave our lane. We're going at about 60 miles an hour. Cruise control setting is at 75 miles an hour. Pretty smooth so far. It looks like there is absolutely no traffic at all. The highways are moving pretty fast. Autopilot does want me to get into the left lane right here, even though I can see that the left lane is a little bit slower than the lane I'm in. But at some point, I do have to get into that left lane to follow the route, or at least that's what autopilot is telling me. Okay, so there is a car to our left here, so I don't want to engage the auto lane change just yet because it's just gonna stall and try and figure out what to do. Okay, so this truck is moving a little bit ahead. Just went ahead and now I hit the left ticker to see when autopilot is going to get into this lane. There is a car right there in the lane, but it was able to kind of squeeze itself into there, make it into the lane. I really thought there was going to be more traffic, but this is good. all the lanes are moving pretty smoothly and we should get to our destination fairly quickly. We're going 61 miles an hour. Cruise control is still set to 75. The highway is set at 65 miles an hour. We just got the latest update and there's a couple improvements on here that are pretty nice. Now the autopilot system will recognize speed limit signs, read them, analyze them, and then we'll go at that speed. Instead of, it used to rely on highway data and GPS data for it to figure out what the speed limits were at on certain highways. Okay, I do need to get into the right lane to get off to the exit, so I just hit the auto lane change and pretty smoothly, pretty flawless. Looks like we're gonna follow this highway exit here onto a different highway, still going about 65 miles an hour. It just recognized that those were traffic lights, even though I guess they were kind of signal lights on the highway, but they weren't on, so it didn't trip the autopilot system into thinking it was a red light or a green light. This exit coming up here is pretty gnarly. It kind of snakes back and forth, and we're going pretty fast right now, 74 miles an hour. So let's see how autopilot does on this area. Okay, so it just realized that we needed to decrease speed, so it just decreased it to 55 miles an hour. Ooh, a little bit tight hanging on the left side. There is no cars on my right side, so pretty fine, even though we're kind of going into those lanes. The autopilot system is definitely using both lanes to advantage. We are slowly making this left lane here. Oh, this curve is tight. Okay, so we're good. So it definitely slowed down a lot through that last turn. You could tell it was pretty sharp, but it slowed it down to 33 miles an hour. And now we are increasing speed back up to highway speeds at 65 miles an hour. Another cool thing with the latest update, if you have the traffic light control, it will now chime when the light turns green if you're waiting at an intersection for a light, which is a pretty nice feature. You still should pay attention to see when the traffic lights turn green. I know some of you might not be paying attention at every single intersection. And besides that, of course, with every single update, there's minor bug fixes and improvements. Okay, so we're in the all the way right lane right now, 50 miles an hour, going pretty slow in comparison to the cars in the left lanes going past us. But our highway exit is coming up in about 3 minutes or 2.1 miles. So there's really no reason to change out of this lane. So coming up here, there is a highway that's coming from the right side. That there's 2 lanes merging into our left lane. So I know typically these cars from the right side try and cross over, but hopefully none of them will try and cut into our lane and trip up the autopilot system. So yeah, this drive was actually pretty good. Of course, there really wasn't any rush hour traffic or bumper to bumper traffic that would trip up the autopilot system, but the Tesla system made its auto lane changes pretty smoothly and it really wasn't any glitches at all. So we're almost at our exit here. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Thanks for watching another video. Hit that like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.